Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Al24 Midnight News, and these are tonight's top stories. United States renews its support for Algeria's initiative to resolve the crisis in Niger, stressing the importance of American-Algerian coordination to achieve stability in the Sahel region. As the Tunisian President Kais Saied confirms the strong brotherly ties between the two countries, Algeria and Tunisia reaffirmed the importance of developing more distinguished and deeper economic relations. And after the Libyan House of Representatives issued the law for electing the head of the State and National Assembly, some conservatives reject the new law. Members of the Supreme Council describe the efforts as violating the Constitution. And for the first time in American history, U.S. House of Representatives voted to remove Kevin McCarthy as a Speaker, a historic moment that threatens to plunge House Republicans even further into chaos and turmoil. Hello again and welcome. First, the U.S. affirmed its support for Algeria's mediation efforts to resolve the crisis in Niger. This comes hours after Algerian Foreign Minister announced that Niger accepted its mediation offer aimed at developing a political solution to the crisis.
Algeria has repeatedly warned against any military response to the crisis in neighboring Niger, and offered to mediate to find a solution to the political crisis that has persisted in the country for 2 months. Washington praised the Algerian mediation in Niger, an acknowledgement of its efforts to promote stability and resolve conflicts in the region. Algeria has been involved in brokering peace agreements and facilitating negotiations in various African countries. Its geopolitical position and its historical ties to neighboring countries have positioned it as a potential mediator in regional conflicts. Its efforts to promote stability and peace paved the way for it to have a seat at the United Nations Security Council.
As Algeria takes a seat on the UN Security Council next year, we look forward to continuing to work together on this and other regional and global priorities.
While ECOWAS and France vehemently opposed the change in the leadership of the Nigerian state, Algiers adopted a more moderate stance, positioning itself as a reliable mediator.
We encourage Algeria to continue to work with ECOWAS, which is leading efforts to resolve the political crisis in Niger. The United States and Algeria partner closely and regularly on bilateral and regional priorities, including on shared efforts to de-escalate conflict and advance regional stability, and that includes in the Sahel. This was a topic during the Secretary's meeting with his Algerian counterpart on August 9th and during our meetings at UNGA, UN General Assembly.
Since the beginning of Niger's political crisis, Algeria has strongly opposed military action, which would only make matters worse. With this stance, the United States applauds Algeria's efforts in the Sahel area in quest of appeasements.
In a related matter, in the same country, Nigerian Ministry of Defense announced in a televised statement on Tuesday that 29 soldiers were killed in an armed attack west of the country, according to a preliminary toll with 2 soldiers wounded. The ministry said in a statement that a detachment of security forces was subjected to an attack carried out by more than 100 terrorists in the northwest of Taputal, during which explosive devices and suicide vehicles were used. The attack resulted in the death of dozens of terrorists. President of the Republic, Mr. Abdelaziz Tebboune, received on Tuesday directors and managers of national media and took stock of their socio-professional concerns, praising on the occasion the crucial role of media in defending national interests. The meeting also allowed for a thorough debate on various national issues directly linked to citizens' concerns as well as regional and international issues. The Secretary General of the General Union of Algerian Workers, Ammar Takjoud, affirmed Tuesday in Algiers that the perfect knowledge by the President of the Republic, Mr. Abdelmajid Tebboune, of the socio-economic situation of the country is a good thing for workers who are fully prepared to bring an added value to the national economic activity. In a statement to the press at the end of the meeting with the President of the Republic, Mr. Takjoud indicated that the meeting was marked by a broad debate around the social situation and trade union organizations, considering that President Tebboune's perfect knowledge of socio-economic situation of the country and the public administration is a good thing for the workers.
The meeting centered on issues related to the labor world. There was a broad discussion aimed at looking into work conditions, be they in economic institutions or public sector. I informed him about proposals I will present to him over the next days regarding economic institutions, both public and private.
In Algeria, still, the Chief of Staff of the People's National Army, General Saïd Chengri, has stressed on Tuesday Algeria's firm conviction about the need of strengthening international peace and security by banning weapons of mass destruction, including chemical weapons. General Chengri made his statement while supervising the opening ceremony of the VIP Day for Africa Chemical Exercise, destined to states parties to the Chemical Weapons Convention for the Africa region, organized in cooperation with Organization for Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, in the presence of its General Director, along with the ministers and heads of diplomatic missions accredited in Algeria, as well as high-level organizations.
تتشرف الجزائر باحتضان
Algeria is honored to host this exceptional event and highly appreciates the joint initiative between our national body and the technical secretariat of the organization in order to strengthen and build technical capacity for the prevention and prohibition of chemical weapons of the state parties to the Convention for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons in the African region. Algeria affirms its strong conviction about the necessity to reinforce international peace and security through banning weapons of mass destruction, including chemical weapons, as they represent a serious threat to humans and the future of humanity.
For his part, the Director General of the OPCW, Fernando Arias Gonzalez, praised the efforts and capabilities that Algeria has mobilized to make the regional demonstration a success, in which participants from various African nationalities, evaluators, and international observers have taken part.
I wish to conclude by saluting the professionalism shown by all the parties involved in ChemEx Africa. Mr. Prime Minister, Mr. Chief of Staff, Minister, dear friends, Algeria has once again been willing to take the leadership of diplomacy and multilateralism with this so well attended and successful event. I sincerely appreciate the hospitality we have received and the effort that has been made, and I wish to express my compliments to the authorities of Algeria for this event and for the success achieved.
Algerian Foreign Minister Mr. Ahmed Attaf and his Tunisian counterpart Nabil Ammar supervised on Tuesday in Algiers the opening of the proceeding of the follow-up committee session, which is meeting as part of preparation for the 22nd session of the large joint Algerian-Tunisian Committee for Bilateral Cooperation, which will be held on Wednesday at the Abdelaziz Rahal International Conference Center here in Algiers.
في إطار التحضير وأود في هذا المقام أن أثني بصفة خاصة على
In this regard, I would like to particularly praise the identification of new fields of bilateral cooperation and the start of taking advantage of their abundant potential, especially with regard to the development of border areas, the exploration and production of hydrocarbons, the promotion of desert tourism, as well as the exploitation of shared groundwater resources. These are areas that are added to the traditional fields of cooperation that include most of the economic, social, and humanitarian aspects, all of which remind us of the elements of rapprochement and the qualifications of integration that make Algerian-Tunisian relations exceptional by all standards and with all the feasibility and meaning that this description carries.
ما يحمله هذا الوصف من جدوى وفحوى.
Tunisian President Kais Saied underscored the significance of the Joint Supreme Committee's work between Tunisia and Algeria, highlighting its role in reinforcing the robust Tunisian-Algerian relations and the stated future between the two nations. The declaration followed President Kais Saied's reception of Prime Minister Ahmed al-Hashani, who embarked on his first official foreign visit to Algeria since he's been appointed last August. The approval of the Libyan House of Representatives on the laws for electing the head of the state and National Assembly resulted in conservative and rejecting positions on the part of many political parties. Meanwhile, members of the Supreme Council of the state considered amending the electoral laws a blatant violation of constitutional text. In an exclusive statement to Al24 News, Sidi Mohamed Ahmad, the Polisario France representative at the UN and coordinator with the UN mission for a referendum in Western Sahara, revealed that special political issues and decolonization committee of the United Nations General Assembly commencing its work on Monday will welcome the participants of numerous stakeholders, including parties, unions, and associations, showing solidarity with the Sahrawi people and their right to self-determination and independence. The committee, known as the Fourth Committee, will deliberate on various reports and listen to requests regarding territories undergoing decolonization, with particular focus on the Western Sahara issue.
The Special Political and Decolonization Committee, also known as the Fourth Committee of the United Nations General Assembly, has started its sessions today at the United Nations headquarters in New York. It is expected to review a range of reports related to various political issues and the situations in the 17 non-self-governing territories listed on its agenda, including the Western Sahara. The participation in the committee's work will be extensive, involving representatives of political parties, professional associations, solidarity groups, and supporters of the Sahrawi people.
At least 37 people, including 2 pregnant women, were burned to death after a blast in an illegal oil refinery in southern Nigeria, a local security official and community leader said on Tuesday. According to the same source, the latest incident happened in the early hours on Monday in the Iba community in Rivers State.
Nobody's happy, including the Yenwali, including the local government chairman. Nobody's happy because they have been shouting of all these things for them to stop. The soldiers, the police, the civil defense have been trying. See it, they refuse.
An unfortunate incident flooded in northwest Nigeria as a boat capsized in Niger River, leaving at least 40 individuals missing and presumed drowned. Bala Muhammad, an official from the Uri region where the accident occurred, reported that the boat carrying 50 passengers met its tragic fate due to the strong currents. While 10 passengers were rescued, the search for missing individuals continued. Now back to the Algerian-Tunisian matter. Algerian Prime Minister Mr. Ayman bin Abdulrahman has indicated that the volume of trade exchange between Algeria and Tunisia outside the hydrocarbon sector has increased 54% during the first 7 months of this year.
In his speech during the inauguration of the Algerian-Tunisian Economic Forum here in Algiers, Prime Minister Ayman bin Abdulrahman indicated that the figure is likely to rise in the coming months as a result of the efforts that the two countries are looking forward to making, pointing also to the registration of 42 direct investment projects and through partnership, especially in the sectors of agriculture, construction, industry and services, among others, with a value of approximately 14 billion Algerian dinars.
تعتبر الجزائر أهم شركاء تونس التجاريين في إفريقيا والعالم العربي.
Algeria is considered among Tunisia's most important trade partners in Africa and the Arab world. It should be noted that during the first 7 months of 2023, the volume of trade exchanges between the two countries outside of hydrocarbons has witnessed a 54% rise, a figure that is likely to increase over the coming months and years as a result of the efforts that the two countries are looking forward to making, and by overcoming and lifting all the obstacles regardless of their nature in order to enhance trade exchanges to the level we all aspire to.
The head of the Tunisian government, Ahmed Hashani, who was received by his Algerian counterpart, Ayman Ben Abdelrahman, affirmed the importance of reaching the level of a strategic partnership between Tunisia and Algeria in view of the international changes occurring in the world. The head of the Tunisian government indicated that the forum represents an appropriate meeting framework for Tunisian and Algerian businessmen whose organization reflects the great importance that the government of the two countries attach to the private sector, with a view to contribute to the establishment of effective partnerships and by taking advantage of opportunities offered and the real capacities of the two countries. Mr. Hashani also invited on the occasion Algerian investors and businessmen to invest in Tunisia in various sectors.
وأني أؤكد في هذا السياق
I affirm on the occasion that we welcome Algerian businessmen and investors, and we promise them that we will ensure all the necessary facilitation and incentives to guarantee the success of their projects in various promising fields, notably energy and renewable energies, car manufacturing, pharmaceutical industry, and tourism.
It's worth noting that Prime Minister Ayman Ben Abdelrahman received on Tuesday at the government palace here in Algiers the head of the Tunisian government, Mr. Ahmed Hashani, who is making a working visit to Algeria at the head of a large delegation as part of the holding of the 22nd session of the large Joint Algerian-Tunisian Cooperation Commission scheduled for Wednesday.
In Africa, still, military court in the Democratic Republic of the Congo handed down the death sentence to a military officer and sentenced 3 other soldiers to 10 years in prison. This ruling came as part of a case related to the killing of over 50 individuals during the military suppression of demonstrators in Goma, east of the country, 1 month ago.
The court has sentenced Kalamba Mikombe Mike to death for charges of murder and attempted murder, in addition to a life imprisonment for his involvement in the destruction of weapons used by the armed forces. This ruling is made in accordance with Article 7 of the Military Penal Code, and as a supplementary measure, he is dismissed from the armed forces of the Democratic Republic of the Congo.
In Europe East, in 18 provinces across Turkey, according to the Turkish Interior Ministry, police detained more than 900 persons on Monday on suspicion of having ties to the Kurdish Workers' Party, which is outlawed in Turkey, following the Kurdistan Workers' Party's claim of responsibility for the incident that took place last Sunday at the Security Directorate of the Interior Ministry in Ankara. There were a number of arrests made, mostly in the southeast Turkish region of Sanil-Loraf. Russia's military has no plans for an additional mobilization of men to fight in Ukraine, as the army has enough servicemen. Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu said on Tuesday during a teleconference meeting with members of the General Staff. According to Russia's defense minister, more than 50,000 Russians signed contracts with the ministry in September alone, and over 335,000 people have started military service since the beginning of 2023.
I want to point out that all of the recruits, including those from the new regions, will not be sent to the combat zone. The General Staff has no plans for additional mobilization. The armed forces have the necessary number of military personnel to conduct our special military operation.
Same line of thought, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov expressed his belief in China's pivotal role in advancing the Eurasian continent through proposed cooperation mechanism, particularly within the Belt and Road Initiative. Speaking during a press conference at the 20th annual meeting of the Valadi Club in Sochi, Lavrov praised the collaboration between Russia and China within the framework of Belt and Road Initiative, emphasizing its extensive prospects for development in transportation, finance, and industrial logistics.
Our Chinese colleagues consistently organize high-level events. I've previously emphasized that initiatives such as the Belt and Road, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, the Eurasian Economic Union, and the Association for Southeast Asian Nations are closely aligned with the development of the Eurasian continent. We collaborate extensively in projects encompassing transportation, finance, industrial logistics, and more, all of which offer substantial opportunities for advancement.
Now, U.S. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy has been removed from office after a historic challenge to his leadership from his own party. The Republican faced a motion to vacate, which was triggered by Donald Trump ally Matt Gaetz on Monday, just months after securing the position in 15 rounds of voting. McCarthy's removal is the first time in U.S. history that a Speaker of the House has been removed from office, with Patrick McHenry, a close McCarthy supporter, named interim Speaker.
Ken Logger-Dove.
Mr. Speaker, my friend from Oklahoma says that my colleagues and I who don't support Kevin McCarthy would plunge the House and the country into chaos. Chaos is Speaker McCarthy. Chaos is somebody who we cannot trust with their word. The one thing that the White House, House Democrats, and many of us on the conservative side of the Republican caucus would argue is that the thing we have in common, Kevin McCarthy said something to all of us at one point or another that he didn't really mean and never intended to live up to.
How many of us came here because we thought this job was going to be easy? How many of us thought the task ahead of us to address the problems of this country was going to be easy? One thing we did know is that if we were going to finally start confronting problems that had been ignored for years and years and years, we had to change the way that this place worked. And one thing Speaker McCarthy embraced from day one is to start making those kind of changes to this institution, opening up the process, allowing members to be more engaged, having amendments come to the floor, single subject bills, doing appropriations bills. Yes, making that happen overnight is not something that happens automatically.
And U.S. still former President Donald Trump escalated his verbal offensive against New York State Attorney General Letitia James during his second day of trial in New York Civil Court. Trump, still under legal scrutiny, continued to accuse Democrats of using the judicial system as a weapon to deter his potential return to the White House.
The second day of the trial of former President Donald Trump unfolded in a tumult of accusations and attacks. Donald Trump, the Republican billionaire who faced legal proceedings along with two of his sons over allegations of inflating their real estate assets, seized the opportunity in court to deliver a blistering assault against the New York State Attorney General Letitia James, denying any wrongdoings in the case.
This case should be dismissed. This is not a case, but he's been given false information, misleading information, and corrupt information by a very corrupt and incompetent Attorney General, Letitia James. This woman is grossly incompetent.
In response to the charges, Trump faces a civil trial on fraud allegations, which could significantly impact his vast real estate empire. New York Attorney General Letitia James has accused Trump of amassing over $100 million through deception. James is pushing for a fine of at least $250 million, along with a permanent ban on Trump and his two sons, prohibiting them from engaging in business activities in New York. She also seeks to impose a 5-year prohibition on Trump's commercial and real estate endeavors, including his well-known foundation bearing his name.
I'm not doing it because this trial is a rigged trial. It's a fraudulent trial. The Attorney General is a fraud, and we have to expose her as that. You see what's going on? It's a rigged deal. Frankly, you saw what was just put out about Schumer and the principal clerk. That is disgraceful.
These legal battles, however, have not seemed to weaken Trump's position in the political arena, as he entertains the notion of a return to the White House. In the upcoming presidential elections, his lead over fellow Republican Party contenders and potential rival Joe Biden remains robust. The most recent Washington Post and ABC opinion poll indicated that Trump holds a 10-point advantage over Biden in the 2024 elections.
Thank you.
And with this, we reach the end of our news bulletin. Thank you so much for being with us. Take care for yourself. Good night.